Bless the Lord, oh my soul, worship his holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul, I'll worship your holy name.
How do you know that you have gotten the will of God? First, what are the ways to know the will of God? Very quickly. One of the most important basic ways of God leading his children is what we call the inward witness. What did I call it? You just know somewhere deep inside of you that this is the person that you are going to marry. Listen to me very well. I'm not talking that I like him. There are two different things. If it is just this, I like this boy, you will see an anxiety in your heart. This inner witness comes as a settled feeling. I can't describe it to you. It's somewhere at the bottom of your heart, somewhere inside your stomach. The Bible says, out of their belly shall flow what? Rivers of living. So what looks like the physical location of your spiritual person, did you hear what I said? What looks like it is somewhere inside your belly. You just have that settled feeling inside of you. You know that you have found the person. If you are thinking of marrying somebody and you are having anxiety, you are having apprehension. What is anxiety? Hey, will it be? Will it not be? Apprehension. Hey, if I marry this person, hey, I hope I am making a right choice. I hope someone. If you have any of those feelings, that is not the inner witness. You have not yet known the will of God. If you are thinking of marrying somebody and you are afraid, you have fear. Hey, will this person, will he like me? Will he love me? Even if you like him and you love him, and that feeling of fear is inside of you, that is not the inner witness. Sometimes you meet a boy or a girl and say, how do you know that this person? Say, I just know. How do they say it now? They say, I have peace. Now that's a good statement, but if you have peace, you cannot have fear at the same time. If you have peace, you cannot have apprehension. If you have peace, you cannot have an internal agitation, a restlessness, something inside of you that is not settled. If you are thinking of marrying somebody, it's like two of you are competing over this person, and you are not sure. Even if 2, 3, 10 people are competing with you, if it is God, there will just be that settled. How do I put it? It's a settled knowledge. You just know that wherever this person goes, he's coming back, and you can relax. Especially for a girl. A boy that you have to struggle for, 3, 4 of you are always competing for this boy's attention, is a clear sign that there's nothing spiritual about it. It's carnal. It's just a question of falling in love, like a talk. And if you fall into love, when you marry, you will fall out back. Your eye will clear. This inner witness is the way by which God leads his children. Take time to develop your inner witness now. And one way to develop it is what you have done. If you pray in the spirit all the time, your spiritual batteries will be charged. Let me ask you, how do you feel now? After these 5-10 minutes of prayer, how do you feel? You can see you are already feeling spiritual. It's normal. If you are prayed up, you are charged, your spirit is charged. Like a spiritual antenna, you pick things spiritually. When it's time to pick your wife, when you see her, you just know this is the person. When you see the husband, you just know. Are you following what I'm talking about? Don't say, hey, I pee, but I have peace. I have peace. You have peace, but you are panting. That's not peace. This inner witness is God's primary way of leading his people. I tell you, when I saw this woman and God said, that's your wife, I was wondering why all the troubles that I have been doing, I was wondering, why was I doing this? It just settled. I just liked her. Let me tell you something else. Some of you are thinking that if it is you allow God to choose for you, you will not like it. I can assure you, in fact, you will like what God chooses for you more than what you choose for yourself. Let me tell you my personal experience. You know, I told you that I thought the best person for me to marry is somebody who is taller and bigger. When we married and we were going on our honeymoon, one of the sisters that I had wanted to marry before, in fact, this sister, I thought, in fact, this is the best one. Hey, she's tall, slightly taller than I am. She's plumpy, just the perfect height and perfect stature. On top of that, she's spiritual. She was the first sister that was allowed to preach in our fellowship. Spiritual. In fact, I was begging God, if you give me this girl, anything you want me to do in life. If you find yourself praying like that, you know that it's not the will of God. You are trying to bribe God. She married before us. She's a wonderful sister. Up till now, we are still friends. We are family friends. And in fact, she's a pastor in one of the churches in Lagos. Her husband works in a company. She is the pastor. So you can imagine that she's still a very spiritual woman. But they married. Of course, we didn't get engaged. She got engaged before me. And they married 1 year before us. In fact, during our honeymoon, we went to their house. We passed through their house on our way to our own honeymoon. Just to show you, we are still friends up till now. Now she has married 1 year ago. She has given birth to a child. I have not seen her for 1 year. When we knocked and she opened, I saw her. I said, eh? Thank God I kept my... She had become big. Even though today I think she has slimmed down a little bit, but she was almost going to look like my mother. I said, eh? That night when I knelt down, I said, thank God, oh. Thank God you did. Because you see, God knows you more than yourself. He knows the tomorrow today. In fact, he knows the tomorrow yesterday. He has known it before you were born, before your father's mother's grandmother's father's granduncle was born. He knows your likes and dislikes more than you yourself. Do you notice that your taste itself has been changing? Have you noticed that things you used to like before, now you are not liking it again? If you trust yourself to make a choice, you will choose what you liked as a small boy. Now when you become a man, you will not like it. God, knowing the end from the beginning, chose for me a jacket that will be growing with me. Are you following what I'm saying? When I was Janjala, she was how? Janjala. When I was beginning to have Omilara, she began to do what? Omilara. When I have now become Fregede, she has followed me. We have, every time I see her, I say, God, you just know how to pick well. You have picked one that fits me. she's stretching with me, even physically, but much more than that, she's spreading and stretching with me spiritually. She's expanding in capacity as I am expanding. I hope you are following what I'm saying. Don't trust your senses, trust your spirit. That inner feeling, I'm telling you, you know when you know the will of God, you know. Even you yourself, you know. And when you have not yet found the will of God, you know. You'll be afraid, you'll be panting, you'll be hoping, you'll be wishing, you'll be praying. Some fasting self is just fasting to quell that thing inside of you that is saying, this one is not your own. This one is not your own. You say, but I like it. If I don't get this one now, where will I get another one? That inner witness is one of the major ways. Of course, sometimes God speaks to you as you are studying the Bible. You are reading a passage of Bible, and suddenly that passage of the Bible just seem to describe the situation between you and this person. God speaks like that. That's the two best ways that God speaks. He gives you a passage, he gives you a message, he gives you a scripture that just settles on the two of you, as if they wrote that Bible passage for the two of you. When you get there, the thing just jumps at you, and you know that God has spoken to you from this passage. Are you following what I mean? Of course, after that, there are dreams and visions. Even though God speaks through dreams and visions, but it is not God's first choice. Are you hearing me? It is not God's first choice, because Satan can also give dream. But that's not even as dangerous as the third source of dreams. There are three sources of dreams. God can give you a dream. Satan can give you a dream. The third one is more dangerous. From who? From yourself. If you have been doing ronyon after a girl, around a girl, you will dream. Already you are graduated from university, and you are attending maybe the same church, or you are meeting at conferences. Stop arranging meetings for yourself. You are deceiving yourself. You will start dreaming. Are you following what I'm saying? Yes, dreams can come from God. More often than not, dreams only come as a confirmation when the inward witness is already there, or God has spoken to you through the scriptures to you, and you already know. Oh, I forgot, in some very spectacular cases, God speaks by what you call the audible voice. I cannot do a complete teaching of all of the ways that God speaks. There is what you call the audible voice, but even before the audible voice, you have what you call the inner voice. The inner witness is just a feeling. The inner voice comes in words. For example, it was the inner voice that spoke to me as my wife walked in at the door and said, "That's your wife." I didn't hear it with my physical ears. I just heard it where? Inside me. That's your wife. And I was jacked. Are you following what I'm saying? That's what we call the inner voice. The audible voice is physical. You can, in fact, if you hear it, you will turn back to see who is talking to you. That doesn't happen all the time. But God can also speak through an audible voice. All of these are ways that God leads. But if God has tried inner witness, you didn't hear. He tried scriptures, you didn't hear. He tried inner voice, you did not hear. He tried audible voice. Anyway, audible voice you will hear. Sometimes he can now give you a dream. Are you following what I'm saying? Those who important things in your life is only by dream, it means that you are not maturing spiritually. Don't depend on dreams. If you are being led by dreams, everything is I dreamt. You only use drama. to talk to somebody who cannot hear. Let me give you an example. If I want to look at this young man standing now, if I want him to come here, if he can hear, do I need to move to get him to come here? I don't need. I can just stand there and say, what's your name? Daniel. Oh, Daniel. I can just stand and say, Daniel, come. Even if I'm looking like that, I say, Daniel, come. What will he do? He will stand up because he can hear. Abi? But if he is deaf, but he is blind, I will need to do something else, isn't it? If I say Daniel till tomorrow, will he hear me? Because he's deaf. But then I will say, Daniel. He will not hear, but he will see. But supposing he is deaf, he is blind, and I want to call him, what will I need to do? I have to go and tap him. I say, supposing he's blind, he's deaf, he's dumb, and he's lame. If I want him to move from that place to this, what do? I have to carry him. That's the matter. If you are spiritually sound and your senses are exercised to hear God, God can speak to you as his child. He doesn't need a drama. He can talk to you. You know, it's a child that is and if there is no quarrel between you and your father, Abba, if there is a quarrel between you and your father, he may not talk to you for days. But if there is no quarrel between you and your father, he just calls you. You hear his voice from his bedroom, wherever you are. You are standing up and running to go and meet him, because your eyes are intact, your ears are intact, your everything is intact. You can walk, then you can go to your father. Is somebody hearing me? Then these dreams. Okay, I wanted to give you a passage to show you that God's first choice is not dreams. When you get home, you can read it. I think it's in Job chapter 34. I hope I can catch it quickly. God speaks once, yea, twice, yet man perceiveth it not. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men and seal their instruction, that he may withdraw man from his purpose. Did you see? When does God use dream? When he has spoken once and spoken twice, and you have not heard and you do not perceive. Then when you sleep, he will show you a drama. Are you fit with me? God does give dreams, but don't let dreams be your primary source, because Satan can infiltrate it. But even more dangerous, your own thoughts can infiltrate it. That's a way also that God leads. Final thing I will talk about that is that don't ever let anybody tell you the will of God that you have not heard from God about yourself. What did I say? Don't let anybody come and tell you that something is the will of God when God has not spoken to you. God likes to speak direct to his children first. He can use other people to confirm what he has already spoken to you. Acts chapter 13. Separate unto me Paul and Barnabas unto the work which what I have called them. God has already spoken to Paul and Barnabas before he will speak through a prophet. Don't let a prophet come and tell you that this is the person you are supposed to marry. God, you are a child of God. You have a spirit, and your spirit is capable of connecting with God. God can speak to you direct. I said, if there is no quarrel, just imagine that you are living in the same house with your father, And every time your father wants to talk to you, you are standing there. Then he goes to meet your junior brother and say, tell your senior brother that I want him to go and wash the car. And you are standing there. Does it happen like that? If it happens like that, what is the meaning of that? It means that your father is annoyed with you. If somebody comes to be telling me the will of God, and I go to God and say, God, are you the one? And he said, yes, I've been talking to you. In fact, I will start crying. What did I do that you didn't talk to me direct? What did I do that you did not show me your will for my life? Why am I? And says, maybe it's because you are not listening, or maybe because you are not doing this, or maybe because something, and that can happen. Are you following what I'm saying? But ordinarily speaking, if God wants to speak to you, he speaks to his child direct first. I don't have time to be studying with you, but if you read Hebrews, I think it's Hebrews chapter 2, he said, how shall we neglect so great a salvation, which at first began to be spoken unto us by the Lord. Then secondly, I said, and it was confirmed to us by them that had him. Are you listening to me? Sometimes when God is speaking to his child, in order for the other people around him to act as a confirmation, God can speak also to people around you what he has already spoken to you. So when they are speaking to you, you just say, thank you very much, I already know. Do you remember the day God was going to take Elijah from Elisha? Do you remember? The sons of the prophets, they came to him and said, do you know that God is going to take your master away today? What did he say? Thank you very much, I know. Develop a relationship with God. This is not because I am preacher or I am a pastor. This is available to every child of God. That you and God, you are talking. If you are having your quiet time every day and he's speaking to you, particularly when it comes to the issue of marriage, don't let anybody come and tell you that it's the will of God when God has not spoken to you. Are you following what I'm saying? Are you hearing me? Don't let one of your friends come and tell you that, don't you see that you and so you are compatible? The way the two of you are always doing. It happened to me, that's why I'm talking. One of those girls that I said, the only person I ever got engaged to, do you know how it happened? Should I tell you how it happened? I should tell you. Will you pay me? How much will you pay me? What will you do to me? This sister had a friend. They were very close. And then that friend had an accident and died. So this, in my heart, I said, Kai, this girl will be very lonely. She'll be feeling, because I know that her friend, Korikosu, they even go and do holiday in each other's houses. So I told myself, I said, I know there must be a void created in this girl. I'm going to go in there and fill the void so that I can help her to overcome the loss. That was my own thought. I didn't have any plan of marriage. To tell you, she didn't even appeal to me as a wife. So I went in, I brought in, I became her friend. And because she herself, she's a girl. All girls that are always looking for somebody to lean on me. Before I know what is happening, we were reading together, going to eat together, going to fellowship together, everywhere together. And for me, I didn't think anything about it. And we never talked anything emotional. I was interested in her spiritual life. Are you reading your Bible? I hope you have gotten our head. Sometimes she will have a dream and see this sister in her dream. We will pray about it. Those were the things that were going on and on. There was nothing emotional at all, at least from my side. How many of you believe me? I'm a Christian. I'm telling you the truth. I did not have any ulterior motive at all. But you know what happened? Because we were almost always together. If I now arrive in fellowship and she's not there, people will say, where is Sister Lagbaja? I say, I will normally know where she is. Oh, she has gone. She forgot a textbook in the cafeteria. She will soon join. In about 10 minutes she will arrive. In 10 minutes what will happen? She will arrive. Me, I didn't know anything was wrong. So, but after some time, when I arrive here, they say, where is Sister so? When I arrive here, they say, where is Sister? I say, so one day I say, what's the matter? Why are you people the way they say, don't we know? Is it because you people have not told us? We are not blind though. We are seeing many things. So when I get here, these people say, hi Sister Titi today, I hope she's fine. I say, what's the meaning of this? It was then it occurred to me that people had already matched us together. May God forgive me. Everywhere I turn, so I started thinking. I said, is it like that? Is that how you get somebody you marry? Well, after all, she's fine. She's not ugly, and she's spiritual. Maybe we shall see. We shall see. We shall see. We began to see. So one day, she came to visit me, and then I said to her, I said, do you know what people are saying about us? She said, what? They are saying that we are together. She said, as how? I said, they are always calling us together as if we are engaged. He said, me too, I don't know for them. I said, so I asked her, I said, are we together? Do you know what she answered? He said, it's only you that can say. Then I said, it's okay, let us see whether we are together. That's how we were engaged. You are all saying, have you not done worse things? That's how we got engaged. As soon as I entered into that relationship, that inner witness, the alarm turned to red. No. She's a good sister. She's married now. She's still a Christian. There's nothing wrong with her. But that is not my destiny mate. I wish you are understanding. There is not everybody that you can marry. It's not every brother. It's not every good brother you can marry. The fact that a brother is spiritual does not mean that that's the person for you. I got engaged to this sister, and then we were going in and going out. By 1 month after that engagement lasted about 6 months. By the first month, second month, I knew I was in the wrong thing. But it's easier to enter than to go out. After 6 months, when I told myself, no, this thing is not the will of God. Don't let me kill myself. I wasn't happy. I was restless. This is a sister that I really like. I love her. I've been sharing the love of God. As soon as I connected that wrong connection, it was like connecting negative to positive. There was Sarah in the spirit. Everything just scattered. So eventually I had to sit down and say, sister, I nearly mentioned her name. I will not. I said, let's tell ourselves the truth. This thing is not God. Let's break this thing. She said, how do you know that it's not God? What do you know? Something? Of course, I didn't know that. For her, she has seen a caring brother. I was doing everything practically for her. Every time she needed somebody to talk to, I was always there. She has seen a husband. I said, but this thing doesn't. She said, well, me, I know I prayed when I entered this thing. I told her, I said, no, this thing is not God. And I broke the relationship. Do you think it's finished easily like that? It doesn't finish. She started reporting me to everybody. I have cheated her. Yes, now. Did I not cheated her? I cheated her. That's bad English, but I said it knowingly. I jilted her because I promised her, and then I said I'm not doing again. But it was not a long promise because it's just a matter of 6 months. And I told myself, this is not the will of God. She reported me everywhere. Oh, then somebody counseled me and said, this sister is reporting you everywhere. Beg her now. Yeah, if you have offended her, say something. So me say foolishly, I went to her again. I went and bought a gift. So I took it to her and said, don't worry. Don't worry. If I have offended you, don't worry, forget. Just forget. Please forgive me. When I left, sister took that the relation has resumed. Then she started smiling again and started telling everybody that we are back. When the message got back to me that we are back, I said, we are not back. Oh, we are not back into anything. So I went to her the second time. I said, excuse me, I'm sorry. That gift that I gave you is only to say sorry. I'm not doing again. What I'm talking about, it caused a big. Until we left the campus, that sister almost could not see eye to eye with me. It's a very bad story. I don't like it. Unfortunately for me, not long after that, we separated our different ways. We never saw ourselves since that time. I pray she has forgiven me. But please, sister, are you hearing me? When somebody says, I am not doing again, what should you do? Accept it and pray. It means that he is not the right person for you. Never you force yourself on a brother. Never you say, if I let this one go now, I will not get another one. There's nothing like that. There is no time you get to the river, you will not get water to drink. Are you hearing me? If you are following the Lord, I was still telling one of us yesterday who was asking me, say, suppose I'm waiting and Mr. Right does not come. I said, who told you that that's your time? I tell you, I tell you, whenever it is your divine timing, you will never miss the will of God. I can assure you of that. It has happened to me. I was too anxious, thinking if I didn't do something, I will not get the will of God. But here am I today, settled, properly settled, because I waited. Two things I need to say as I'm closing. If a brother has not proposed to you, the brother has not proposed to you. Did you hear what I said? I should say it again. If a brother has not proposed to you, what has happened? He has not proposed to you. Don't take signs. He's always calling you special name. There are some very irresponsible brothers. I was one of them. They give sisters special names that turn the head of the sister. He doesn't know that as he's giving you special name, that's why he's giving every other sister special name. Then you suddenly realize that you're on your own. It is the day you hear that he gets engaged to another person, that's the day you start crying. If a brother has not opened his mouth to say, please, will you marry me? What was the question they asked Rebecca? Will you go with this man? If a boy has not opened his mouth to talk to you like that as a sister, he has not proposed. It doesn't matter what else he's saying. He don't say he has used sign language. He will also use sign language to tell you that he doesn't want you again. You don't use sign language to propose except he's deaf. No, what do they? Yes, it's deaf people, they use sign language. Except the two of you are deaf, and then you do. But if he can talk, no matter, in fact, I always tell sisters, if there is a brother that is doing ronyo around you too much, warn him to stop coming to your room. If he has something in his mouth to say, let him become bold to do what? Don't let any man be drawing your emotions. They will draw you. They are checking. He's drawing the emotions of 3-4 people like that. And then finally, he will drop. I think my wife is still coming to talk. I will leave that one. She's coming to share her testimony. So let me leave it. Would you like to hear it? You will like to hear it? Don't let a brother lead you on and drop you. They suddenly put on light for you. All right, I've spoken about how to. So how does a brother propose? How do you want a brother to propose? How do you want him to propose? To carry a fat Bible, 2 of them. Sister, can I speak to you? As I was praying in the spirit, I was in the spirit on the Lord's day. When the angel of the Lord brought this scroll, and when I opened the scroll, behold, I said, who is this that the Lord has favored so much like that? Who is this that God is giving the privilege of marrying his servant? Who is this? And the Lord said, take her. She's my chosen for you. And I said to the Lord, but you know she's not as spiritual as the person I will love to marry. And the Lord said, manage her like that for me. What should you be your answer to that brother? Don't even pray about it. When he finishes his prophecy, tell him, bro, when you wake up from this prophecy and you are ready to marry, then you can come back. I don't want to marry a spirit. If I didn't dramatize, I know brothers will not go to that extent, but there are some brothers that make you feel as if they are just helping you. Don't say yes to that brother. Are you hearing me? Any brother who doesn't value you, who doesn't value what God has given you and what God has made of you, I'm not saying you should, okay, let's try the other side. It doesn't come with Bible. He goes to buy a 24 karat ring. Aha. And then he goes to the middle of the expressway. And kneels down. And he has carried about 5 cameramen and said, will you marry me? Then you do say, which one do you want out of the two? None. Both of them are not sincere. I am seeing a dangerous trend that you are seeing with people they call celebrities. Half-naked, shameless people who expose their privacy in the public. Those are not the people that should be your models. The girl is half-dressed. She carries herself in front of the whole world and brings a ring and is kneeling down and singing song for you because he wants to marry you. That's not how to enter into a marriage covenant. A marriage covenant is a serious business. Some people, they say because they have money, they fly you to Dubai to go and propose to you in Dubai. All such things don't make marriage. What did I say? They don't make a successful marriage. Proposing marriage should be a spiritual affair, but yet it should be a real affair. Don't come quoting all the Bible passages that God has given you. You are the one that God. If the sister asks you, what are your convictions? You can bring out the Bible passages. My proposal to my wife was very simple and straightforward. Should I tell you how I proposed? I simply went to her. Sister Yinka, I call her father's name. Will you marry Lanre Adeboye? That was all. That's all. She looked at me. She said, why should I marry you? I said, because there's a journey I need to make in life. And God has shown me that you are my partner on that journey. God has shown me I need you to succeed, just like you need me to succeed. Will you marry me? That was my proposal. Are you hearing me? What was her response? You will need to pay $5 million. When they propose to you as a young girl, Even if you have known the will of God and you know that that person is the will of God, it is best. I know there are people who have given an answer to the man instant. That can happen if, for example, you have prayed with your disciples and your pastors and everything, and they have already told you that any day he comes to propose to you, you are free to say yes. Now that can happen. But if you are still praying and you and your disciples have not agreed, or you and your pastor have not agreed, or you and your parents have not agreed, it is safer to you for you to involve at least either your parents, your pastors, your disciples, somebody senior in the Lord. When they come to propose to you like that, tell them, I have heard. I will get back to you. Don't let anybody force you, like some people that I know did, and they force you to give your answer now. It may not be wrong, there may be no sin in it, but for your safety, take it back to those with whom you have been praying. Let them check it. What did he say to you? What are his convictions? How did God speak to him? Sometimes it depends on the church that you are attending. Sometimes in your fellowship, they will check the other side first. Am I correct? They will send to his pastor to go and find out which kind of person, whatever is the procedure in the church that you are going to marry. It doesn't cost you anything to submit yourself to it. I told you before, if it is God, nobody can be against it. Submit it. If a brother proposes to you, no matter how convincing he is, even if you yourself you have been suspecting it before, tell him, I have heard, I'll get back to you. Go back again and recheck again. Go back again and pray again until you find out the will of God, until people confirm it that this is the will of God, and then you can go back and give the brother an answer. Don't let haste. If I don't answer him quickly, he will go and propose to somebody else. Anybody who can drop you because you did not answer quick and go to propose to somebody else, that person is not actually led to marry you. That person is only playing a gamble with you. Hello? And brother, when you have proposed to a sister, can you please leave this sister alone and allow her to hear God? Don't be sending text to her every 1 hour. Don't be sending love letter, love text. Don't be sending card. Don't start sending recharge card. Bro, are you hearing me? Sister, if there is a brother that is putting pressure on you like that when you are still praying, call him and say, excuse me, if you are putting pressure on me now, I will give you your answer now, and your answer is no. If you want me to hear God, do what? Wait. A sister has her liberty to take her time to wait until she has heard God before answering you. Part of hearing God for her includes confirming with her parents, confirming with her pastors, and give her the chance for her to make a decision by herself. Brother, do you know why it is your advantage? It's your advantage because a sister that had God by herself, when you enter into the relationship, she will be standing on her own convictions. There are storms of life that are waiting for you in marriage. If you a girl into a relationship that she did not hear God by herself, when the storms of life comes, she will say, and I didn't pray well. Oh. How do you know that? If you get married, for example, suppose you have problem with infertility as a boy, they check you and they say you are exospermic. If it's a girl that you did not allow to hear God, she will say, yeah, my life, oh, hey, this kind of useless man that I married, that's the end of your marriage. But if it's a girl that had God, she will go to God and say, God, you are the one who told me to marry this man. We cannot go childless in this family. She will join hands with you to pray. Am I correct? Because she had God by herself. A wife that you hijacked into marriage and she did not work on her two convictions to enter into the marriage with you, you are the one that will carry her for life. She is like a wheelbarrow. Do you know what a wheelbarrow is? Can a wheelbarrow move by itself? You have to give her a little lift and a little push before she can move. Your two hands will be occupied moving your wife. You have no hand to do anything for God. Leave her. Let her hear God first. Let her hear God properly. And after she has heard God, she can stand up and go into the relationship with you, and they will live happily after. Praise the Lord.
Bless the